The next day, I had a kid who just came up to me for no reason and just punched me in the face. The West has kind of like just collapsed everything. I noticed something masculine about it because it's kind of, you'll never hear a girl saying it that way. The house is going to get renovated. They're going to smash it all up and it's going to look like a fucking war zone. And then it's going to be brought back to life again. I like that pain in some sense because it informs me. I don't want to be not conscious of it because I wasn't conscious, it was influencing me.
I do want to firstly just say, well, firstly, welcome to the First Class Man show.
Yep.
I'm really grateful to have you here, Saul. So
Yeah,
thank you
I'm grateful to be invited on here.
No,
so,
no problem, man.
Especially as your second guest, so that's kind of cool.
No, it's not, honestly, it's no problem. I think you were actually somebody that I really wanted to interview.
Okay.
And I'll go into why in a moment, but just firstly, how are you feeling? Obviously, I know you work, balance between working nights and, gym and stuff. So how's life been for you, man?
Yeah, life's good. I've been doing a lot of kind of change work at the moment. So I kind of been putting myself through it and it's been coming up a lot this last week, especially because I got really tired at work and then something happened at work and that kind of really hit me kind of like a bus and the kind of just kind of trying to figure that out. And then I keep having other things come up and I'll explain why that's happening maybe later on in the conversation as we go. So also I want to say that something I noticed about myself is that I find it really hard to be open. In fact, I'm really insanely private.
Okay.
Like I don't like, it's not that I don't like, I'm often scared of sharing. So, and it goes right back to childhood of opening up myself to people. So I have all these tactics and things that I do, like prepared stories and everything to avoid having to reveal myself. And I don't reveal myself to anybody. I'm that insanely private. People know me more closely. I will, but even there's still a barrier. And so I'm going to try and just be a bit more open than normal doing this.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, firstly, what I would say that for me, it gives me an element of gratitude, for you even deciding to be here then. And then also for yourself, it's more of a step out of your comfort zone. Which is definitely something
I'm totally uncomfortable doing this,
Good.
but that's kind of cool as well. I think it's exciting as well.
I think that's something to kind of jump into because obviously if we're having a talk on like masculinity and what it means to be a man, I think, obviously I'm here for your thoughts, but I think stepping out your comfort zone is something that, every single person should do.
Yeah, no, especially men. You should always kind of like, anytime I've done that in my life and walked into that discomfort, things have got better. Often though, what I found happens as well, that things will come up as well. So uncomfortable things will come up. And there's that very, you'll something really uncomfortable come up and you'll have that kind of urge to go and run back to that old way of thinking and being.
Yeah, of course.
In it. So.
Cool. Well, I mean, I have to let you know. So one of the reasons as to why, like I said, I was excited about, having a conversation with you. Obviously, we go to the same gym.
Yeah.
So whenever I see you in the gym, you always give off to me like a really calm or a really mature sort of persona. You are quite, no, you're excitable, but when I say that, you're a level head.
Yeah.
You're a level head. Have you always been like that?
What, level-headed?
Yeah.
No. I would. It surprises me that you think I'm level-headed. I am. I do try. I think again that goes to that kind of fear thing. I try to conform to fit in. I do it less at the gym though, because the gym's just somewhere where I can just be a bit more relaxed. And also, you're working out and you don't have time to kind of like put on airs and graces or anything else. So you can just be yourself, and it's just sometimes just getting through the workout. So, but I mean, I've always had that element of like I think about things and how I'm coming across, and I've always tried to conform in that sense. But then I do have a kind of wild side to me as well. So completely.
I've seen the wild side.
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen the wild side. Well, I think that's also the other reason that I when I was thinking, I was like, what do I really want to touch on when I'm speaking with Saul? And I was like, it's your unashamedness in terms of you don't care from what I can see. It's like, for example, on Wednesdays we wear pink. You'd go all out.
Yeah.
And you know, in a way, I like that about you, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's cool, man. He just does what he wants to
Yeah.
do, and he's unashamedly, you know, Saul.
Yeah, so that's something that is kind of maybe my wild side a little bit, but yeah, something flicks in me when if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly,
Full
and
on.
I'm going to go full on in it. So
Mm.
and I throw myself into it.
Yeah, I like that, man.
So yeah, and then, yeah, I've definitely always had that.
But yeah, for those are the reasons I was like, yeah, that's why I want to have a conversation with Saul
Okay.
and really deep dive and explore
Okay.
some stuff. Also, you know, as well as that, when I was talking about this idea of having a space for men to come and have a conversation, just
Yeah.
chit chat,
Yeah.
I kind of learnt more about you when you were like, you're really into that sort of stuff
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it meant for really interesting conversation. So before we really jump too deeply into it, I wanted to get a bit of a background about yourself.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, you mentioned, you know, prior to this, you've, you know, traveled different countries.
Yeah.
You know, you went to boarding school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
there's so much about me you don't know.
but I think
Yeah.
I think that gives a different perspective
Yeah.
because when you think about it, right? Like, not many people. I mean, I went to grammar school,
Yeah.
but it's not quite boarding school. And I do believe that someone's, you know, school life really frames who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want you to dive into, you know, what came about as to how you were traveling around different countries, or what were your parents doing, why they put you in boarding school? How did that come about?
Okay, so boarding school came about because my dad works for an oil company, or worked for an oil company. He's retired now. So he worked for Shell Oil,
Okay.
and then he got posted to Brunei. And when he got posted to Brunei, the school only goes up to about 10 years old. I was 10 at that time, so moved from Aberdeen, and then I went to boarding school. They went to Brunei, and then I came out for the holidays to Brunei.
Okay.
And so from 10 till 18, I was in boarding school
Mm.
for that period.
Okay. And what was your experience of boarding school?
Boarding school was, see, it's complex. It's kind of a mixed bag of things. So like my first day at boarding school, I was really homesick, and the guy who was supposed to be, they put you with a partner who's supposed to show you the ropes and everything, but he just, can I swear in this? Yeah.
Speak
So
to.
he just fucked off, and I just got, everything just got overwhelmed. Then the next day, I had a kid who just came up to me for no reason and just punched me in the face.
Really?
Yeah, gave me a black eye.
Oh,
Properly
wow.
punched me as well, not like some little.
Was this like the same year group?
No,
or?
he was slightly older than me, so
Was a bully?
and bigger. I, I know exactly who it was. I don't want to say his name or anything because it's a long time ago now. But I don't know why he did it. I don't know. I have no idea really why he did it. But that kind of, and then another kid came. To be fair, another kid came along and defended me and punched him.
Really?
So yes.
Was he in the same year group as that
No,
person?
I think was he in the same year group?
Mm.
He might have been in the year below. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he was a tough kid.
And
so
how did that, you know, make you feel?
that was kind of shocking because that was my introduction into it. I mean, it's kind of weird. I never really thought about, or bring it to the masculinity type thing. I never really thought about boarding school as much as being any, you know, it was just something that I experienced. Don't know what it was like to go to a normal school from that age onwards because I went to boarding school. It was normal for me. But when I read a book by Robert Bly called Iron John, and it talks about initiation in there, and that was really, and it talks about like where the kids, when they're roughly around 10 years old, like I think it's in that book anyway, where they will, so one of the tribes, they'll knock a tooth out of the kid, or one of them, they go in at night and kidnap the kids from the mothers. Okay. The mothers are screaming, but it's all play acting from the mothers and everything. And then they go through this kind of like trial, and it's that trial that they go from being a boy to being a man. And really, that's what boarding school and also going to Brunei was about for me, isn't it? Was that kind of marker where I could say, oh, I was a boy before then, and then that was really my initiation into so, you know, becoming a man, you know, the first steps of it. And even that hardships, you know, I don't look at it as such a negative thing anymore.
Okay.
So but that were negative stuff at boarding school as well. It's a mixed bag, like I said.
What were some of those challenges you faced?
what was the some of? I mean, there was bullying and stuff, and I think I probably did some bullying as well. The I don't know. It was just confusing, a really confusing time. It was like it's just really complex. You know, a whole different kind of world. It's you have teachers, but it's the kid. It's have you ever read Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's kind of like that with a little bit more control. So we weren't running around with spears killing each other, but weren't far off it sometimes.
So,
So
so let's jump into that. So with the bullying aspect, right?
yeah,
Um, you know, a large part of it comes out of like a desire to dominate.
yeah.
But was there a reason as to why you did it yourself?
I don't know. Maybe a kind of fear type thing. I don't know. That's a long time ago.
Mm. Or how
I
did it
mean,
make you feel?
look. There was a kid who always laughed, and I really liked him. I really got on with him. But you hit him, he laughed,
Mm.
and I beat seven kinds of shit into him at night. And he were both prefects, strangely, in the boarding room. And I don't know why. I just did. I wanted, and I did stop him laughing, but that's not a good thing. But going back, I mean, that was like when I was 12. And if I go back, so my first small dormitory where I had prefects in charge of me. So I was in a big dormitory, first of all. That was fairly okay.
Yeah.
The small dormitory, there was two prefects, and they were bastards.
Mm.
So like they would get me, they would get all because there was I think there was 3 or 4 of us in that room with these two guys, and they were older, and we were younger kids. So they'll get us to hold our briefcases out and just hold like that. Once they put blindfold on, and then you said that we're gonna, they'll put blindfold on and try to punch each other, but they didn't. They just punched me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah. So all kinds of shit like that.
That's
So
crazy.
so maybe it's kind of like you experience that, and then you kind of do it on some level.
somebody
But I
else.
didn't do it to younger kids or anything. It was just with this guy. I don't know why. I don't know why I got into that with him, and I felt guilty afterwards, and I got into trouble for it and everything. But
And then well,
and I kind of destroyed my friendship with him a bit as well, as it would.
yeah, naturally. But I think like when it comes, the whole bullying thing is definitely a concept for me that I always wanted to wrap my head around because
Yeah,
you know, I when I started secondary school,
yeah,
myself, someone attempted to bully me,
yeah,
and it was for something stupid as well. You
uh,
looking back at it, always is,
yeah,
and it was for my name.
yeah.
So obviously my full name's Leopold.
Okay.
So obviously generally I go by Leo, but my full name's Leopold, and for some reason they found it funny, so they used to take the mick out of it, right?
Yeah,
So my only way of dealing with it, to be honest with you, was just the kid was in year 9, and my only way of dealing with it was just to fight him. So
yeah,
I always said, you know what, I'd rather be beaten up, but I'm not gonna have you take the piss out of
yeah,
me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I didn't actually get beaten up. I did
yeah,
beat him up, to be fair, but that was my way of, you know, saying that no one's gonna pick on me.
yeah.
So I just want to ask you, like, how, in reverse, when you were being bullied, how did you deal with it? Did you ever confront it?
No, I didn't. I didn't even kind of like recognize it as bullying. I don't think.
Mm.
I don't even. I don't even know how I recognized it. I mean, there were some kids that did where I did think that was bullying, but when it was like that, I don't even know. It was just some shit that you go through.
Mm.
So I don't even know. I mean, I don't even think with the guy I had a fight with
Mm.
and made him cry in the end. I don't even think that was bullying. It was just I don't know. I just think I had an issue. I think probably deeper down there was some issue between us, and I just kind of like went at him for it.
Do you reckon it had like an impact on like your worldview?
In what way? That no, I don't know. Did it have an impact in my worldview doing that? I don't know. I don't think much about school anymore. So I kind of put that. I mean, there's all kinds of like other messed up stuff that happened there. So
Mm.
I kind of like I don't speak to anybody from school on the whole. In fact, I don't. I got somewhere on my Facebook and stuff, but I don't communicate. I do just that's kind of
You drew a line.
I drew a line. Yeah.
So did you? So obviously, once you finished boarding school, well, actually, before that, how frequently did you go back and see your parents then?
So I went back every holiday. So the main holidays, so Easter, Christmas,
Yeah.
and summer holidays.
Okay. And generally, then, so you've got a different experience to school life than I do.
Yeah.
I think the thing we share in common is the fact that it was an all boys school. You know, I went to an all boys grammar school.
No, mine was mixed.
Oh, was it mixed?
Yeah,
okay.
but a lot more boys than girls, but yeah, mixed.
Okay, cool.
Well, and day kids as well. So
it's the same sort of question, then. Actually, you can still answer it anyway. But do you feel like that shapes, you know, the actual way you grew up, whether it's a grammar school, a normal state school, or a boarding school? Do you reckon that has an impact on you in terms of?
Absolutely. I don't know exactly how it's had an impact on me, but you know, there's that saying, you know, give me a boy to 8 and I'll give you the man, isn't it? So yeah, your formative years, those things that happen, how you're conditioned and everything else, of course, it affects you for the rest of your life. But I don't think that it necessarily you have to stay with that story. You can change the story. You don't need to. It doesn't need to define who you are, but it often does.
Of course.
But it doesn't need to.
And to take me
and it can go both ways as well. Sorry. So you can have two people have a horrific story. One takes something good out of it and becomes something amazing. The other person will destroy their life over it. So it's how they frame it as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And so take me then from Brunei. What happens after that?
Okay, so my parents were there 4 years. So after that, I mean, I carried on boarding school all the way up till 18. After Brunei, I think that was 14 when they moved, 14, 15, they moved back to Aberdeen, stayed in Aberdeen 2 years. My dad started working in Syria, and then they moved to Spain when I was 17 and got an ostrich farm, and they started an ostrich farm and horse riding.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. So they did. So that was in near a place called El Perelio. So they did that for a long time. They only just sold the farm, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago. So only because they're getting too old. But yeah. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, walk me through then. How did you end up back in the UK?
Okay, because I went to university. Okay. So I mean, I was always in the UK going to boarding school. Then from boarding school, I went to Coventry Uni. Then from Coventry Uni, what did I do from Coventry Uni? I then just started working, and then different jobs. Worked in Coventry for a bit. And then worked in Wolverhampton. I worked in Birmingham, but moved to Wolverhampton, and then eventually moved to Birmingham, and then
and then here you are now. Yeah. Okay, so then with your story, you've travelled around quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, like I said, when I was speaking to you, that I really took a lot from was just the fact that you've tried a few different ventures. You mentioned to me before that you've built an app, I believe it was.
Yeah, I built an app. Cool.
And we can come into all of that, but I think one of the biggest things for me that I took from it was now that you kind of found purpose in, you're part of suicide prevention. So on the phones.
Yeah. So not just suicide. So with I like doing what I do. So it's we with the calls we get at work. I don't want to talk too much about work, but the calls we get, anything and everything. So it's not just the suicide calls. I like just dealing with calls where people call in that you don't know where. So they can be for something that's not that serious to everything where they're actively dying for one reason or another, whether they're actively killing themselves or they're having a heart attack or whatever it may be. So no, I never know what you're going to get on the next call, and I like that, and I've got used to doing it now, and I like where you feel like, that person, I've helped that person, and that person's,
of course. Yeah. And so that leads me into why I mentioned it. So obviously, we could probably both agree it's a very dealing with those calls can be quite stressful,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
dealing with
yeah.
really
Because
emotional people.
you dealt with suicide types.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah.
I run a sales company separately to this, and we used to, one of our charity clients who used to work with dealt with
Oh,
mental
okay,
health.
okay.
So, I know when dealing with people with mental health issues, especially when they're in a highly emotional state,
Yeah,
it can be quite, it's a big emotional load even for you to deal with
yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
And we had it where sometimes we had to have conversations with somebody about the conversation we had with someone else,
Mhm,
just to make sure that our minds aren't affected.
mhm.
Um, with the people that let's say you were dealing with, did you find that in men it was a case of, did you think was it a circumstance that they couldn't get over? Was it a lack of purpose? What do you think is the cause for men to feel like they have to end
I,
it all?
I don't know. It's really hard to tell because sometimes it's really hard to tell which people are calling up are being absolutely genuine
Mm,
and which ones aren't. Because the people who are regular callers, they're not just sometimes cry for help. Sometimes it's just time wasting,
mm,
and sometimes they're genuine. And it's hard to know which is which. I mean, some of them. I don't know how much details I can go in.
there's obviously certain things you can't
So
say, of
so
course.
so uh, there was one guy where I think it was just he had an argument with his mom and he wanted to prove it to her. I don't know if he was successful or not, but he wanted to. She said he was too much of a wimp or something to do it, so he
Mm,
he wanted to prove it to her, but he wasn't.
but
But
you
in a
can.
kind of really immature way. So I think there's a kind of like men are not growing up now. Some I think there's a thing where we're kind of demasculating men. We don't appreciate men's uh, um, just let me think what I'm trying to say. We don't the traits. So like I told you that book I recommended to you by can't remember his name Roberts can't remember his name. So magician warrior
Hmm.
king lover what something like that. Um, he talks about the archetypes and that there's
Yeah,
positive
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and negative. There's positives to each of the archetypes, but they need to mature,
Yeah.
and there's a negative expression of them all. And I think because we're alienating those masculine traits and saying that they're wrong, because when they're immature, they are immature, and they do get expressed kind of like in immature ways, like kids fighting and doing
Mhm.
things like that. But you need to go through that to get that maturity.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I think it was similar to like the desire for, sorry, the trait of like dominance, can be bad, but in a good way,
yeah,
it could also equal ambition.
yeah, yeah.
So I see where you're coming from, but is there like, what I suppose what I'm getting at really is there a with men right now in 2025,
Yeah,
a lot of them are generally just unsatisfied or lacking
yeah,
purpose, or not sure if they're doing things right.
yeah.
Like when you're dealing with people at the extreme end, what is the
But it's
what is
all
the reason?
different. Each person is different. So like I said, I had that guy, but that was an immaturity thing. Had guys who just fed up. They're just that's it. They messed up their life in some way, or they feel that they have,
Mm,
and that there's no coming back from it. So I've spoken to guys like that.
mm,
Uh, um, some really have met. Some are like alcoholics or whatever. So a lot of times there's other things going on. So the drug addicts, alcoholics, or whatever,
yeah.
and they're already unhealthy. And sometimes there's people who want to to end it because they're in bad health in their life. They can't see any way out of it
Anyway, out of
anyway.
it.
So it's
Mm,
just that. But it's all each person. The thing is when you try and kind of like, and that's the problem about modern society that everybody's is well you've got these traits that are kind of similar and you know guys that the similar things and you can statistically put it all into one bag. But each of us are actually really just individual and what complex. I mean, I always think about it that you know behind my eyes is it's a universe of things going on. So behind
mm,
everybody else's eyes, the same thing, isn't
yeah, of
it?
course.
So you can't really, when you're being really true, everybody is unique. Everybody's situation is completely unique,
Hmm.
and we know that because I mean you can look at just everybody. Everybody looks slightly different. No one's exactly the same. Everybody's in a different place. No one's doing what anybody else is doing.
Hmm.
You know.
It's crazy. It's crazy you said that actually, because I was having this thought earlier on today, and it was like, and I was thinking to myself, even whilst we start, why have I started doing this as an example?
Hmm.
And I've always had a curiosity, and I was saying to myself, if I could, theoretically take off my head, put on someone else's head, and just, see what's in their brain for a day to
Hmm.
help understand. Um, I would love to have that ability just to completely connect, to understand exactly how someone feels, to know exactly where someone stands on certain things. You know how
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
say how we're all unique.
Yeah.
We all have different perspectives of how we
Yeah.
view things, different problems, different ways of dealing with things. And I think the desire to understand is what creates
Yeah.
the need to have these
But
conversations.
you'll never truly understand because even doing that, you're somebody else looking at
Of
that.
course.
You know, it's still through your lens there
Yeah.
somewhere, isn't it? So yeah,
But then
well,
I think that opens up the question, the conversation. And that's the reason as to why conversations like this are important, because, rather than, which I think in this day and age, a lot of people are told how to be masculine or told how to be a man. Like I said, conversations like this, learning from different people
hmm
with different experiences of life from different backgrounds, different ages, different stages, it allows, people just to listen
hmm
and just to draw out what their take is.
hmm
And I think working it out for themselves, I think there's something key that you said to me before, which is you don't really believe in defining it.
yeah, yeah,
And I kind of like the ideology, to be
yeah,
fair. I mean, if
yeah.
you have anything else to say on that.
Um, s- okay, just put that on me. So yeah, with masculinity, I don't even, that you are just you not just a guy, but you are what you are, innit? You like you said, you can't really know anybody else. You can't even, or it'd be nice to go into someone else's head and truly understand where they're coming from. And we can say we've got similar traits, and I think there's certain things that we need to go through,
Mm.
but who we become and everything else is always a uniqueness to each of us. And if you start saying you have to do this, you have to do that, I don't know if that really works, especially in modern society. I mean, we've kind of like it's kind of what um, Jordan Peterson, and then kind of that on the opposite side, postmodernism, isn't it? Where postmodernism's kind of taken down
Hmm.
all the uh, all of all these fences, for these boundaries, and sometimes they take them down without asking why they're there in the first place. So they just want to destroy everything.
Hmm.
So whereas, and Jordan Peterson says that no, you need some of them do need to, like modernization, like women working and having equal rights and all that kind of thing. That's important, but where you kind of just start getting rid of all these, sometimes, in religion you have these certain kind of initiations. Religion kind of got rid of them as well, so it's more, if you go further back, it's more tribal type things that we went through, certain things that we went through in life, and they had a kind of proper order, and we've kind of just got rid of all of that. And and there's a cultural bias to those things that we used to do, and now with us all mixed up, all these different cultures, it's it's hard. I don't know. I don't even know if we really understand each other anymore because we're all like, I was thinking the other day, because knowing I was coming on here, that with boarding school, I mean, there's so many different cultures. Most of my friends that I had growing up
Hmm.
weren't English. I lived abroad because I lived in, obviously, Syria. When I went to Syria when my dad was there, went to Brunei, Aberdeen, and grew up in Zimbabwe when I was really little.
Hmm.
Uh, and most of the friends that I've had have just not been English kids. They've been sometimes Dutch, sometimes my best friend was half Swiss, half English.
Okay.
So I don't know, just and all I have friends who are Chinese at school and stuff like that,
Mm.
and Nigerian and whatever, and so all of those kind of cultures have kind of impacted me on some level.
Yeah.
So
Well, do you reckon then, seeing as you've seen, all those different places in your upbringing, do you reckon that the struggles of a man in the West are much different from the struggles of a man anywhere else?
I think in West we kind of we've the older cultures tend to have more, not older, but the ones that are more less developed, they tend to have not destroyed those kind of
Traditional values?
yeah, the traditional values and the kind of like processes that they go through
Mm,
that the West has. The West has kind of like just collapsed everything.
I see.
And I think that's why we're having problems now. I think that's why, all this acting out and people doing weird things and shit is because of that. I think that movie, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, The Joker,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of really an expression of this kind of modern society where things are collapsed, and that kind of that masculinity that's kind of just messed up and getting expressed in that way, and we're kind of seeing that
Yeah.
in society.
Cool, man.
So
Well, for yourself then, see, I don't know if it's right to say then you're an amalgamation of so many different cultures and
yeah, no, I
backgrounds.
mean, do you ever read Robert Anton Wilson? So he talks about that we're all kind of reincarnations. Well, he was talking about Timothy Leary. You know who Timothy Leary was?
I don't actually
He
know.
is a guy who was scientist, investigated LSD back in the 60s, and
Okay.
then got cancelled for it. But he was at one of the top universities, and
Mm-hmm.
then he got done for it. Because they suddenly made it all legal and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just went off into a kind of more spiritual kind of approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
But he talked. Timothy Leary said once that he's kind of he said he was the reincarnation of someone, and Robert Anton Wilson goes, yeah, but he's still alive. And he goes, yeah, because when you take the ideas and live by the ideas of someone, you're reincarnating that person in some elements in
Mm-hmm.
it. So if you really want to understand someone, you've got to understand their values and their beliefs and actually experience that, and
Yeah, of
you
course.
kind of understand them on a different level.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. So then, how do you? Obviously, you are the man you are today.
Yeah,
You, contrary to what the camera may, see.
yeah,
You're 47.
yeah,
If I remember
yeah,
correctly.
yeah. That's
You
it.
don't
Yeah,
look it.
no, nearly 48. Yeah,
But yeah,
scary stuff.
when are you 48?
January.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
New Year, baby.
yeah, yeah,
But you keep yourself in good condition. You train, you work
yeah, yeah.
out. Why do you think that's important to you as a man? Or just as a human? I don't know if that's a human thing or if it grounds you in your masculinity. What do you think that's important, being healthy and fit?
Why did I join? I'm just thinking why I joined the gym, and genuinely why I joined. I was going through something then as well. Uh, I was looking at Bob Proctor's stuff, and I kind of actually just started Bob Proctor's course,
Okay.
and so the year one. So and before he passed away,
Mhm.
and I felt really really good, and the pit kind of just resonated with me when I saw it. I knew that I needed to increase my health. COVID had just happened. I
Mhm.
think my health, yeah, I think during COVID, everybody's did, and I just wasn't really that fit.
Yeah.
Never really understood the gym anyway, and I saw that, and I kind of thought, okay, let's go and try that. It kind of resonates with me, and I think now it's something else now. So that was why I started doing it, and then yeah, it's just become important to me. It kind of like
Had you previously been gymming before? Or?
yeah, so I've been to gym but never done weights and stuff. I never thought I could be muscled like I am now, and
Mhm.
I never thought that. Even when I joined the pit, I never thought that was even a possibility. It
Yeah.
was just like losing a bit of weight, getting a bit more kind of slim again. I noticed I put a bit of weight on around my waist, and I thought, okay, I'll get slim, and then get back to there, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I didn't understand weights. I didn't understand that was even possible. For some reason, when I saw guys like that were muscled, I kind of thought, I don't know, I just thought that they were like that anyway, or
I
they
see.
they
Taking something.
taken something. But So I didn't think that was a possibility, but now it's something different. So with regards to masculinity, it is. I mean, there's a thing that, that kind of reflected back that, people comment on it. So definitely guys. So guys will comment sometimes when they see me and if I'm muscled or whatever, or ask me what I'm doing. I like talking about the gym anyway. But there's something deeper than that. It's a place to kind of just where the outside world doesn't exist. I don't have to worry about any of the bullshit going on in my life. I can just let everything go, and pushing through that kind of where you really, it's kind of almost a self-harm thing. So you kind of hurt yourself, but it's kind of hurting yourself to help yourself. And I kind of like that. There's something kind of almost, I don't want to say warrior based, but there's almost something. It's like a battle, and I like that element of it. I like that element, and there is something masculine of some fight going on there. Because sometimes I go to the gym and I really don't want to be there. Sometimes I just think I start, especially when I'm really tired. I'm in a hard cardio session, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I can get through this. I just want to run out the door.
A bit like today.
But it's just the shame of doing that. You're not going. There's a peer pressure thing there as well. But yeah, and also I want to push through. I like it when it hurts. I like it. Sometimes I'll push myself in the cardio session right at the beginning. Is reading that Goggins, and when you hit the barrier, you're 40% of the way, and so I'll push myself to hit that barrier, and then see how it's just do my best to get through to the end of it.
Yeah, I understand.
I like that though. I like that. I love that. I think there is something masculine about it. Again, it's really hard defining it into. I know there's something masculine about it because it's kind of, you'll never hear a girl saying it that way. You never hear a woman talking about it that way, or not so much. It is a guy thing to do that, but why it is, I don't know. It's just a guy thing, isn't it?
So then, I mean, to be honest with you, what you've described there, I was reading a book, or I'm currently reading a book actually. It's called Wild at Heart.
Okay.
And it was just mentioning that most, every man has, one of the three things that they need really, which is like an adventure to live, a beauty, to have, and a battle to fight.
Yeah.
And that, I think for me, that goes into the battle category. It's like when you're at gym, you're almost at war with yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But with it kind of,
and sometimes with each other, because sometimes there's a competitive level. I will, like the other day when we were doing max burpees. I didn't expect us to give us max burpees, but some of the guys who'd done the first round of it had got 71 burpees, so I had to get more.
Competitively, I'll be honest with you, I was so annoyed because you took the top spot, because you took the 75, and I was like, I did 72, and I was like, next 12 weeks, so it is on. To be fair, so I know exactly, because after the session, they posted in the chat, this is Saul 75, and I'm like, I was 4 away from having the top spot, and I'm like, the next 12 weeks, I'm gonna go all out. So I know what you mean competitively as well. There is that there. It's crazy because if you didn't mention that, you would have never drew that out of me. 100%. There's a competitive element to it. Okay, and okay then. So a lot of that masculinity you have is grounded in going to the gym and looking at your peak physique. If you were to say the you now is different to you than to previously, right?
Yeah.
And I know you said you'd gone to the gym previously, but nothing like what you're doing now as an example. So you probably would have seen that you've changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Could you describe those changes to me? How do you think that's helped you?
It's really hard for me to say that. I look at my life, all the different aspects. I don't have any connection to the me who went to university first. I do, because there's obviously some line of like choices and everything that led to me. But that person from here to that person now, I don't have anything. It's almost that what, and that keeps happening in my life. I look back, and my Chinese star sign is a snake. And with one of the things with that, and not that I believe in, I'm not really into to horoscope stuff, but then they shed their skin and reinvent themselves, and I reinvent myself on the next level, like next level reinvent myself. So it's I do that again and again, and it does happen like every decade, every 5-10 years. I will just reinvent myself and push myself, and it is pushing myself to be something more. So what's different from me now to that person then, if to answer your question, and I'm trailing off, is that person then was somebody who he wanted change, and he was changing and could see the change and knew what he needed to do. But you know what I was talking about originally, where something comes up and then you run back to your old. That's exactly what happened, and I got really, and I can't express it. Felt so fucking amazing at one point, and really like I could feel my whole. I've never had this before or since, to be fair. My whole being was vibrating. I felt that fucking amazing. I got that on some fucking other level. And the next day, I crashed, like just boom, crashed. But not, it wasn't a mental thing so much, just stuff came up. Well, it was a mental thing, but it was stuff that came up from childhood and stuff like that. And then stuff outside kind of like almost in resonance with that kind of came into my life and just kind of snowballed a bit. And actually the gym was kind of the best thing for me, because it got away from that, where it didn't become too much of a thing. If I hadn't gone to the gym, I don't know if it,
So when you found yourself, crashing,
where's now, sorry.
go on.
So just to compare, and then you can ask me what you're going to ask me. So now I'm doing that again. I don't have that kind of like next level kind of like theme, but I'm doing a lot of kind of mental work and going through and kind of like getting myself being really positive and kind of like not just positive thinking, it's kind of deeper than that, but really kind of living from the end and stuff's coming up, but I'm not letting it shake me where I just get drawn back, because it's so easy to get drawn into the bullshit that comes up. I'm just kind of keeping focused and kind of realizing, okay, it's kind of, the way I look at it is when you're kind of going towards a goal, or when you're doing something that's really uncomfortable and different to what you normally do, it's like you're getting a taxi and you're driving through and to get to wherever you want to go, it's got to go through a bad part of town. The trouble is, when it goes through the bad part of town, you get kind of like, oh, I don't want, what the fuck? Everything's getting worse. It's all going the wrong way. I wanted to kind of go and start this business and everything, and my money's going worse. So this is fucked up. And so you kind of like, okay, no, this has got to stop. Whereas you've just got to carry on, especially when it's there.
Okay.
And it's hard to do that.
And that's the amazing point, because that was what I was going to ask you. It was, I think we've all been in those positions before where we retreat into our comfort zone, because you feel you have more fear of the unknown than you do of the known, so you go back. My question is, because I think that's a key thing that anyone listening could take from is, what's the key thing that changed that for you, and how did you stop doing that? How did you stop returning to your comfort zone?
It's because I before I didn't know that. Before, when I kind of like start moving towards a goal and things come up, I think I was fucking up when that was happening, and so that's why I was kind of like, okay, this is not working or whatever. Whereas now I don't believe that. I kind of like see it literally like being a house being renovated. If a house is going to get renovated, they're going to smash it all up, and it's going to look like a fucking war zone, and then it's going to be brought back to life again. But when it looks like a war zone, it feels like everything's going the wrong way. So, but you've got to carry on going through that. And I did, having that model in my mind now, that paradigm that, that is going to happen. Things are going to come up. It is going to look like a war zone. That's normal. That means I'm going in the right direction. So if it doesn't look like that, nothing's happening.
So would you say you changed your thinking through? Was it experience or?
Well, yeah, it's partly experience, partly really thinking about it deeply, reading, exploring different kind of uh, uh, ideas with regards to achievement and how our relationships. I mean, let's be honest. No one knows what life is. No one has a clue. We're here. We're born. We don't fucking know anything. Then we kind of grow up with being conditioned by people who don't have any fucking clue either. And we all and you've got a bunch of people who pretend they know what's going on, or who decide that we should live a certain way and everything else, but nobody has the first clue what's going on, why we exist, what existence is. It's just something that's fucking happening, and it's fucking amazing. And so I kind of exploring that idea of my relationship to reality.
Mm.
And yeah, it's from the knowledge I got from that.
Well, there's a lot there. I mean, if you look at it like you're just a massive boulder, right? And like with each challenge you have, it kind of strips away at the boulder until you end up having like the end product. I think that's something that you'd mentioned to me. It's like each challenge that you've ever faced strips away at the person you are and helps you become who you actually want to be.
There's always something new I learn from each time things haven't gone right. Each time I've gone through it, there's something new that I've got from that, and there is some another layer taken away, definitely.
And what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that have added to your character then that stripped away at you?
I think fear being one of them. Like I told you, that when I went to university, I was too scared to go into a shop. Well, I was in the shop, but I was in Waterstones in Coventry, near Lady Godiva, and I was too scared to go and ask about a book. I was just too scared. So, and I don't even know. I can't. It's hard to get back to that person. Why was that? I don't know why I was so scared, but I was. I just couldn't. It was a social fear. I don't know, and it wasn't always like that. So, but then again, I'm thinking about that. I was thinking about it over the last few days. That I used to make really close friends, and then I would use the friends as a kind of like cushion to so I wouldn't have to do it myself, innit? So yeah, and so that was one of the things that was dealing with that, and I don't know how I dealt. Well, getting a girlfriend was probably a big thing with dealing with that, and she didn't take any shit, so she just kind of like pushed me into it and dragged me, so I had to deal with that. And then, I mean, I did it. One of the biggest things was social kind of things. I did a sales job where selling stuff in the streets. Yeah. And doing it the first time, I was fucking. I did it in a. The guy I went with got me to sell in a fire station first of all. After showing me, that's not true. So he took me out the first day, and he was selling all day, and I didn't quite believe it. And then he got me to go into got me to try and sell, and I went into. I kind of got a buzz from him, so I kind of. Went into a takeaway, and they brought the watch off me. So it was a watch I was selling at that point. And I was so messed up in my brain. I convinced myself that he'd set it up somehow, but it wasn't even possible that could have happened.
Really?
Because I really convinced myself that. I still went back though, and then I went with him the next day, and the first proper one I got. Well, I didn't sell it to the guy, but when I tried it, he got me in the morning, and he said, "You do it first." And it was in a fire station, and my God, I was like, I was so, the guy, he was laughing at me, the guy with me was laughing at me, and the fire guy was just,
You never forget your first sale, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, you never forget your first sale.
But I loved that job. It was a buzz, man.
I always find that, it's crazy, because I feel like we're everywhere. I always find that when people go back to significant parts of their development, a big thing has always been sales or doing some sort of sales role. Because like I said, I echo that. I've been running a sales company for 10 years, and it's the same thing, not watches, but all sorts of stuff.
It was all sorts of stuff. So it was teddy bears, watches, all kinds of things. But that ended again, it re-changed me, like to the point where like I went from being really unsocial. not unsociable. I was sociable with when I made friends, I became an extrovert. But with people I didn't know, I was really quiet and
Introvert.
reserved. But when I did that, I mean, I remember one occasion where I was sitting at a bus stop, and then I just became the. And it was after a day of selling stuff, and I just waiting for the bus stop to go home because I lived in Covent. It was based in Birmingham, and suddenly I just became the center of attention on the bus stop. Everybody was just. I don't even know how it happened. Some kid was talking about his little toy soldier and started talking to me, and then just become this whole huge conversation where it was just bizarre. But then what happened was with my girlfriend at the time, I had an argument with her on the bus, and then some dude came up and punched me in the face. And because he took exception to the argument, she went downstairs already, and then he came and punched me and sort of half knocked me out. And then
Because you're arguing with your
yeah, because I was arguing with her. It was about a bag because I had my stuff in her bag and she wanted a bag, and I said, no, my stuff's in it. It's not really your bag. It's my stuff. And he just took exception to it, whatever. It was none of his fucking business anyway.
I'm thinking the same thing. But
But yeah, he came and punched me after she went downstairs. And then she came up, saw, because other people started coming downstairs because there was a fight. And I didn't know how to fucking fight then. So it kind of like half knocked me out. And then she came upstairs because people were coming downstairs because obviously they didn't want to get involved with any of it. And I wasn't that old either. So she saw that like I was punched, and she kind of she shouted at them. They ran. The bus driver. She went downstairs. The bus driver stopped. They ran downstairs and ran off the bus.
What is it about random people punching you, man?
I know.
You've got this person.
But you do. You attract certain patterns in your life, isn't it?
That's crazy.
So and that, but that didn't quite stop me from doing this. Well, it did stop me from doing the sales job. But it's when I caught the ambulance came and took me, and when the ambulance asked me what I did for a job, and I did sales, and I had a kind of issue with it in myself because it didn't feel like a worthy job at that time. I mean, again, just some sort of mental.
Well, we get it in sales a lot, man. You send them something, someone's like, get a real job.
Yeah. But when I told the woman, the paramedic that I did sales, and her reaction to that, kind of like it just kind of okay, am I doing the right? Kind of made me. Again, I went suddenly back. I retreated. Then I stopped doing the sales job. I didn't go back in.
Well, that was the reason.
Yeah, that was the reason,
wow,
innit?
okay.
So I let it kind of like. And I regret that because I really like the job. But anyway, it is what it is. I made that choice.
Well, something you said there it really, really got me thinking. I was like, you went from being this reserved character to having moments, for example, on that bus where you become the center of attention. How did that make you feel? When you reflect on your own growth in a moment like that, how did that make you feel?
How do you mean? To ask that again because I kind of missed
so let's say, for example, you were feeling great at that time because you became the center of attention, right? Compared to that scared or reserved character, how did noticing that growth make you feel? Did you even?
Oh no, yeah, totally. I felt like somebody different. Like I could get people to eat out of my hand. It was just a fucking amazing feeling. So I was so on it with that sales job. It just changed me in so much ways. But then after that finished, then it just kind of slowly ebbed away. I tried to keep it there, but it just ebbed away again, isn't it? So, but there's always an element of it. So I was never back to that guy who couldn't go into a bookstore and ask for a thing. I was much more confident than that, and I was much more, social than that from there. But I wasn't that person who just. It was almost like magic. It was just like I don't know.
So what's
really
the key
weird
thing you think you took away from the sales role then?
I don't think it was a key thing. I think it's kind of like some psychosomatic thing that you're not even conscious of. I think it's some deep thing that just kind of we create little prisons in our mind, and we don't even know they're there. And when we go near those walls, we get scared or we get some kind of intense emotion. Sometimes we don't even get the intense emotion we create. And I've done this. We walk away. We keep away from them. So. And I think doing that sales job melted one of those walls, isn't it? Some of the walls that it did seem to melt when I was there came back again, but some of them never did, innit? So.
Okay. Well, I understand what you mean in terms of melting down the walls. Then, how do you think they got there?
Those, again, just being kind of like feelings of low self-worth,
Mm.
low. I mean, that's not how they got there. Those were the feelings that they came from.
Mm.
So feeling, felt judged as a kid. I never, I don't know, I felt really, uh, uh, God, what am I trying to say here? Felt really, when I went to university,
Mm.
I really hated myself.
Mm.
So I hated myself on the next level. Like, so I was insecure, and then I hated myself for that,
Mm.
and then I hated anytime any result I got back to me. I saw myself as a leaf in the wind, just blowing in the
Flowing.
wind. No control. Literally, that's how I saw my life.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, and that self hate, that's where the walls came. I was protecting myself, I think,
Mhm.
from that low self worth, from just not feeling good enough, feeling like there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody goes through that, but yeah, no, I really just
I
had
I
those walls.
believe that too.
Yeah,
I genuinely relate with that a lot.
yeah,
It's interesting. That's why I asked, like, where do you think it came from?
yeah,
Do you reckon it stems from childhood or?
yeah. Not 100% childhood. May, yeah, childhood. Just I think okay, so part of it, maybe my dad was quite domineering. I've got a good relationship with him now, fairly good.
Mm.
Um, but I was a little shit when I was a kid. I used to smash up things. Okay,
Mm.
so I had a thing. Tried to go back to a childhood where I kind of tried to work out why it happened the way it happened, because I started that play at smashing up stuff.
Mm.
And I remember the first thing I did was cut vacuum cleaner cord while it was plugged in when I was about 7, and it sparked and blew me against the wall.
Bloody hell.
And then it made a loud bang, and my parents were like, "What?" And I think it was around the time my parents had a woman, a girl. I mean, I don't think she was that old. I think she was 16, 17.
Mhm.
Come in and babysit for us when they'd gone to a party or something one evening. Um, and my parents used to let me read 5 minutes before I go to bed.
Mhm.
And she wasn't happy about me reading. She did it literally 5 minutes, but my parents used to say 5 minutes, but it was about half an hour
To
because they
let you go
encouraged to
on.
read.
Of course.
Where she turned it off and got into an argument, and I'm pretty sure she got physical at that point. So I think that kind of like maybe that kind of fear as well came up with regards to that. And I don't know. It's also moving school every 2 to 4 years. So Scotland, we lived in two different places. So every 2 to 4 years, all my life,
Mhm.
up to going to university, my parents moved around, and so they lived in different places. So boarding school at 10 kind of stabilized me. But before then, I used to get messed up because I make friends and then
Struggle
lose
for
friends.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have that. So maybe that kind of had an element of my self worth and
Mm.
really just low self esteem. But it got worse in some senses. So boarding school was good at the beginning, and then it kind of like it cascaded somewhere along the line. I don't know why. I I, I think I don't know why. Something I don't know. I don't know. Something at boarding school maybe. I don't know.
Well, what would you? I know it's a bit of a deep one, but like, I think every person's experience. I don't know if everyone's experience actually. I don't know if I should say that, but I can certainly say that I've experienced what it's like to experience self hate or low self esteem, and I know how far it took me,
Mm-hmm,
in terms of the gutter.
hmm.
But what does that look like for you? What did that look like for you? Like the pinnacle of like self hate.
Well, I mean, the self esteem, self hate, they're different things, and
Mm.
self worth are different things. So so, and it wasn't always there, I guess. Sometimes I just wasn't aware of it.
Mm.
Um, so,
Mm,
but
that's true.
but but when, yeah, so it wasn't. I was, but it was, it's like if I wasn't doing anything, then it wasn't really there. So if I was at home and watching TV, yeah.
Yeah.
But as soon as there's any kind of social environment, I definitely felt it. So I wouldn't. I never thought that what I had to add had any kind of like value.
Mm.
And there's an element of that in me now still with regards to that, but really badly then. So and the self hate. I mean that kind of culminated with me just hurting myself, and then it's kind of self harm type thing, I guess, and kind of maybe suicidal kind of thought. Just one night where I kind of like went that, and then I kind of got over the self hate by how did I get over the self hate? I used to. Well, I got over being. I used to get really down on myself, and I got over that first of all by a stupid way. I kind of like just copy girls. What the girls do when they're having a bad day, they have a big tub of ice cream. So I would only allow myself ice cream and stuff when I was feeling down.
Okay.
So I would start looking forward to feeling down.
Okay.
And then it kind of just it just created some weird disconnect there, but it just kind of melted away. So I stopped feeling down on myself. I never feel down on myself now. But the kind of self-worth thing, and that kind of dissipated this self-hate thing. I mean, having a girlfriend kind of changed that as well. So I think it's weird. Girlfriends don't really, having someone doesn't really. It does mean something because it's someone recognizing you and seeing you.
It's desirable.
Yeah, maybe as desirable. Yeah, and just being, seeing you. So being, more than what other people would see. So maybe that kind of melted it on some level. It did matter actually. I can't say it didn't. And then the self-worth thing. I don't know. That still comes up sometimes. I definitely don't have a low self-worth, but I do sometimes kind of like, do I have anything to add here? Do I have, or it's like, oof.
I think that's naturally within us,
Yeah.
As men to want to be able to bring value to the world, to show that you can do something and be a producer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see it sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like if you're feeling like, if you're feeling like maybe your self-worth's down and like, I got to go and produce something.
Yeah.
Out of that was kind of how I usually tackle it. But yeah, I like how you broke all those things down. So thanks for sharing those, man. I think that's a tough part because I think, like I said, a lot of people grow up and experience similar things.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've said that again. I definitely did.
Yeah.
And it's just how it's just interesting how each person kind of deals with that.
And I think that's why I've decided just to be as open as possible today, just because I think there's value in that. I think I see some stuff on some podcasts and stuff, and people say interesting stuff, and you watch the different interviews, and they're all, it's just they're just got, it's just nice stuff. It's there, it makes them look good in a certain way and stuff, instead of being actually authentic, genuinely authentic.
Well, so I have to be honest with you, so I can't do the how would you say? I've seen a bunch of podcasts and stuff. I watch a couple these days. If I'm being honest with you, yes, I've got to have to invest time in terms of mastering my craft and getting better, and leading an interview in a better. All those kind of things will definitely come with time and experience and effort.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I think rather than script too much, I think one of the biggest things for me is just how can I bring value? Have a real conversation, and real
just
people will be attracted to it, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I think you've shared some good stuff there. Well, what I can say though is this: you've come a long way.
Yeah.
You've definitely got a lot more experience in terms of you've lived, you're nearly double my age, which is crazy to say it.
That's crazy.
You give me a run for money, out burping me in the gym. But
I definitely don't feel my age at all.
But with the man you are today, right? You know, you were saying before how each challenge has stripping away at the person, you know, who you're
Mhm.
meant to be. Do you see life as there's a end goal in terms of that journey? Do you reckon you're sculpting that boulder away to like some chiseled statue, refined person of who you are, or what does it look like for
Well,
you?
I get some piece of the puzzle each time I've been through something. I get some piece of the puzzle.
Mm,
Like one of the biggest ones was uh, uh, when I went through one of my hardest times. So I went through a year of just smoking lots and lots of weed,
mm,
and I was lost, but I didn't realize I was lost at that point. Um, but when I quit, everything was going well in my life as well. So I don't know if it was because of weed. I was working for an insurance company.
mm,
I was up selling insurance to customers who had some connection to the insurance company in some way. So
mhm,
it's a fairly easy job, but I just chatted shit on the phone and made good sales, made good money, and spent it on weed.
mm, mm.
And so I was pretty much stoned all the time. And then I decided I wanted to quit, and I quit, and I was all right for like I don't know, maybe a few weeks, and then everything just started crashing in my life. But and it went really bad. Like I moved out of the house I was in. The job I lost the job that I was with, or I quit the job. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how it happened. I couldn't remember anything from that year. Really, it's just in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah,
Literally
literally.
in a cloud of
Yeah.
smoke. It's literally how I remember. It's just smoky. Um, and but then I was forced. I had this dark cloud around me as well. So no matter what I seemed to do, everything I touched just turned to shit at that time. I mean, literally everything. I couldn't do anything right. That was probably one of the hardest times of my life. Moved into a house that was one of the girls I worked with's brothers, and he was a shit. The house wasn't finished. He turned the heating off Christmas. Had no money at Christmas,
Okay.
so I was just it was like proper
Just
sub story. So I
yeah,
was like, Christmas I had it was just fucked.
yeah.
And then the next door neighbor, uh, 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 told him or gave him the impression that I was like withholding cash from him or something. I
I
don't
see.
know. So I don't know if that's why he turned off the gas at Christmas. And there was a problem with the gas heater anyway, but he completely turned it off, so I had no heating. Um, and then I moved into another house, and and then I started kind of well, even when I was at this one, I kind of like started having to face myself and sort myself out. One of the things I came across was a book by Nisargadatta. I don't know if you heard
Okay.
it.
What's it
So
called?
I can't remember what it's called. It's called, I don't know, I Am That or Netty Netty. I don't know what it's called.
Mhm.
But basically, you he was an Indian guy. He's dead now. And it was just talking about enlightenment. And I got really interested in this kind of idea of enlightenment. Enlightenment really a kind of gate. I didn't realize it at the time. It seemed significant,
Mhm.
but it really isn't. But it's still useful. Um, so I kind of it's basically asking yourself, who am I?
Mhm.
And everything that you can come up with, well, that's not who you are. It's changeable. It's not permanent. But there's something when you strip everything away. That's why I kind of thought of it because you're talking about stripping everything away.
Mhm.
When you strip everything away, there's still something there. There's something behind everything. This kind of space,
Mhm.
that this light. I don't know what you would call it. That everything happens in, but it's unchanging. It doesn't change, and it's the same for you. It's the same for everybody else. And that's who you are. And I think that so things like that. That was one of the most powerful things that would never have gone down that journey of going and questioning myself and doing that day after day because I didn't get it. Because it said in the book or said somewhere, I read it somewhere that whoever you think you are, that's not it. And I was thinking, well, how do you know if I haven't got it? If maybe I've got it right, and
Mhm.
how do you know when I've got it right or not? How do you know? But I carried on just doing that, and then you start recognizing that there's this thing, this awareness or whatever you want to call it behind everything that's just there. It's life, and and just connecting to that, and yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know why I'm even bringing that up now. So I think that's who we all are. And then I think consciousness is everything, and awareness is everything. Whatever that is, we don't even know what it is. And then we've got a materialistic world where we're these little people that are stuck inside. Like I said, we don't know what life is, and it's kind of a mystery. But we're kind of like this insignificant thing inside this world that we have to conform to. Whereas the other way is that we are life, and everything else is just clothing on it. We are life expressing itself.
So then, if we get into, well, actually, I'm gonna jump into this part. Actually,
Okay,
if we get into sort of just a couple of, well, a section on the show that I'm going to be doing every single time.
Okay.
It's called just the man-to-man section.
Okay,
Just
cool.
just a couple of real questions.
Okay.
I ask them every single time. Obviously, generally speaking, we're just having a chat, but
Okay.
these are questions that are set in stone.
Okay.
They're not going to change.
Okay.
But I want to just ask you so that you can just give your opinion on it. I'm going to just let your answer stand.
Okay.
I'm probably not even going to expand on it. It's going to be just as it is, okay? But the first one is, what's one truth about yourself as a man you don't usually share, but you're willing to confess here?
One truth about that. One of the ways that, oh my God, I don't want to do that. Okay, facing one of the ways I've dealt with that discomfort in myself that I didn't want to face, and it is just distracting myself through all kinds of things. So I've done it with drugs, computer games, porn, fucking just everything, anything to not deal with that. So yeah, that's I don't know if that's.
Your answer will just stand as it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Who taught you, whether directly or indirectly, of what being a man meant, and how do you think that definition has evolved over time?
I think I look to my dad in some ways, to being a man. I mean, my mom said about my dad, he tried to wear angels for you to tread. Like one of the things, it's a story I'd tell anyway, that my dad had the biggest oil blowout in Syria that they ever had. My dad's a safety guy for Shell, or was a safety guy for engineering, and he was one of the first guys to go in after that oil blowout. And he said that they had to cap. I think they had to cap the oil well or whatever. And one of the guys who was killed, there was a Australian guy killed, and all that was left of the Australian guy was just his boots. That's it. It was vaporized in it. So my dad is just not scared in that way, or doesn't show it if he is in it. So maybe my dad. I have a really kind of weird relationship with my dad. So I mean, it's good now, and it's a bit more connected. But we had a difficult relationship growing up.
Okay, and if you could, I wish we had more time to delve into that, really.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you could speak to your younger self, looking back now, the version of you that was, hurting or lost, or in particular, as you were saying, shy, what would you tell him?
But I don't know what I would say to him. I was kind of doing so. It's kind of weird that you're kind of asking that. I was doing this kind of sort of yesterday. Kind of cracked myself open yesterday and today, this morning, just by accident. Maybe because of anticipation of doing this. And one of the things that came up was I'm almost having difficulty. It's kind of weird how my brain's kind of like maybe doesn't want to talk about it. So when I was, so I felt unwanted. So and was going back and kind of doing that, and I don't want to resolve that pain. I don't want to go back and change that because part of it makes me who I am. I want to be aware of that because I wasn't aware. The reason that came up with that feeling of unwanted was because, what was I exploring? I was asking something else, and it because of what happened at work, and it just kind of like the way I felt rejected, and then it kind of for some reason just boom trailed back something that happened that I remember from childhood. Two things, and I realized I don't want to go and say anything to that kid because I don't want to change it. I don't want to heal it. I like that pain in some sense because it informs me. I don't want to be not conscious of it because I wasn't conscious. It was influencing me, and I didn't realize it was influencing me. But now I know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a depth to me. So I don't want to go and get rid of it by pretending, okay, I can heal that.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say anything because that kid's got to go through what he's got to go through, and it informs and it becomes who I am. And so that's my answer.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you. I admire that answer actually a lot. Yeah, I do. And there's only two more, but I know obviously we can't define masculinity, or your opinion is that we can't define it. But if you could at least tell me what you believe being a man, is to you, I'd just like you to share that.
Okay. Just that's a deep question, really. I think it's about. I'm just thinking about who I want to become. Because I'm always becoming someone, always, and it's about being confident in yourself. It's about being assured. I see at different ages, it's different things. But as I get older, it's about being. You're never certain about things. The world is chaotic. It's madness. Like I said, it's like that Joker kind of world, especially in the West, but all over now, really. And it's about being a stable force inside of that. But despite the chaos, I can handle it. I can deal with whatever comes my way. There's nothing. I don't want to say nothing, but I don't think there is anything in the world that can go and that I can't handle, that I can't deal with, that I can't just, I can't. Yeah, that chaos can't grab me.
Yeah.
I'm the calm in the storm in some senses, and I kind of like the storm a little bit as well. So I kind of like the chaos.
I'm not going to ask you the question I had, which was like to refer another man, a book or podcast, something like that, because I think across this conversation you've already mentioned a few. So I will just ask you the other one, which is, if you said obviously you learnt a large part of your masculinity from like your dad, who's had a role on you. So if you were to, imagine if he was here now, and you were to thank him for something that he instilled in you, what would it be?
That's a difficult question. Okay. I like my relationship with my dad now, so it's not that we can still get a little bit itchy with each other. I think it's that self-assuredness. My dad, even though he wasn't always sure with us growing up, like I never knew that at the time. It's only when I spoke to him recently that he never shows it. He just kind of like goes with that. So, what was the question again? I've kind of like
Yeah, if it was, like I said, when you think about your dad and what you learn, I can imagine. But if he was to be here now,
yeah. Okay.
what would you thank him for that you're happy
would I
that he's
thank him
taught
for?
you? What would you thank
See,
him
it's
for?
really hard for me to thank my dad. That's really bad. I've got a real block there. Shit, me.
If it
I
helps
feel
some,
really bad that I feel that way as well. Shit.
I've had a strange relationship with mine as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Maybe
it's,
it's father and sons, isn't it? They either, uh, you're either two cocks in a pen, or they really get on, isn't it? So what would I thank my dad for? I mean, look, my dad gave me a wonderful start to life. I mean, I might have had the self-worth things and everything, and I think he was to blame a little bit for that. Sorry, Dad, if you do watch this. Um, and But yeah, I mean, I mean, it was an amazing adventure growing up as well. I mean, moved around, lived in different places, saw different things. I had an amazing start to life in some senses. And boarding school, it was fucked up, but it was amazing as well. It was, and I like that. I don't want to change anything about my life.
but what would you thank him for?
I would thank him for that, for providing that. But he created that world for me to grow up in, isn't it? So because that, when you're a child, it's not your world, it's their world that because you're just completely suggestible at that point.
Of course.
So yeah, I'd thank him for that.
Thanks, man. I love that answer.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Thanks.
and yeah, so we've come to the final part, which is the exchange. So I don't know if there's a object, a story, or a symbol, but just something that.
Well, I brought two objects. One you can keep, and then one because I kind of misunderstood it, and I kind of looked at it again and wasn't sure which way it was meant.
It's great, man, but just
So
something that grounds in your masculinity, or
yeah. So the thing to give you is that's kind of represents. I don't know why this means so much to me. I've had this for years, like since I was a student, maybe before. So and it represents that wildness inside my heart, that kind of wild man, and I've always at some points when I've been really insecure, it just kind of wakens that up in me. So it's the animal in it inside of me.
so,
So
brother.
that's what that represents.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is great. You know why? Because what I'm creating, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I'm creating especially when the setup gets better long term.
Yeah.
I'm creating like a feature wall.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have all the things that have been
Okay.
gifted to
Okay.
the show on there, so you'll
Okay.
be able
Cool.
to
Cool.
see that you're a part of the journey,
Yeah.
especially as one
That'll
of
be
our
cool.
first. But also, you're kind of passing it forward.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you this whatsoever.
Yeah.
But the next guest that I have on, I'm going to be sharing with them, obviously, your gifts to the show, and I just want to get your take on their opinion of what masculinity is. So my last guest, what they brought was they brought a bonsai tree.
Okay.
And their reason was it grounds them in discipline to
Okay.
look after and nurture a bonsai tree, and also they feel calm when they prune in the.
God, that's such a different take on my
And
whole.
it's a completely
Complete
different take.
whole.
So what do you? So it's a curveball question, because the next guest I'm going to ask about this. What do you think about that?
Okay. See, I kind of respect that. When I was 18, 19, no, maybe not 18, 19, I read a book. It was about, actually, I think it was written by one of Robert Anton Wilson's colleagues, about martial arts. A guy who grows up in Japan, and is he a ninja? I can't remember. I can't remember the book much, to be fair, but I really resonated with that. I kind of tried to instill that character, the kind of smooth movements of doing things, of being, that kind of zen of kind of like flowing with things. And I kind of think that's what he means with that. And I think there is an element of that disciplined kind of masculinity in that with regards to bonsai. And bonsai is Japanese as well anyway. So it's, that kind of pruning and the discipline and that perseverance over years to do that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
I can't wait
So
to see what someone. I can't wait to see what the next guest says about. It's going to be interesting. I like it because ultimately it's a social experiment. It's do men, regardless of their background experiences of wherever they come from, do we ultimately converge on the principles of what it takes to be a man?
Yeah.
So I think it's necessary for me to share a perspective from somebody beforehand,
Okay.
and then
That's
going from
cool.
there really. But I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out. I'm going to cherish this, man. So thank you.
Yeah. No. That's cool.
So which one
Had that
was
so long as well.
for the show?
It feels a bit sad going.
And did you say you brought another one?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So this was just like, you know, when I went to Brunei, it's kind of again that thing of becoming a man, you know, that kind of initiation. So did the thing with they do a thing in Brunei during the summer holidays, which is a jungle safari where you go out with the Gurkhas, because the Gurkhas are posted out in Brunei. And so you go out with them, the kids do, for a weekend, so for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And I won this cup with another kid doing orienteering on my first time going out with them, and it was just that kind of that, because again that the thing that we've kind of missed now, and maybe we haven't really talked about this. So many things we could talk about with masculinity, about
You can come back,
kids. Man. Yeah, definitely got to come back sometime. Kid, maybe in a year's time or something, and see where you are then and where I am. So kids, young boys don't really get to associate with men. You know, there's some weird because of you know this whole idea of paedophiles and everything else, that we've kind of alienated boys and men from each other, unless it's their dads or whatever.
That's true.
And I think that's a shame. And I kind of got that with, you know, spending time with the Gurkhas, soldiers, you know, them showing us and helping us. Yeah, it's so, and that's real special, this cup to me, winning that, and you know, Gurkha Cup. So
yeah, that's great.
That's why I brought it.
Fully
but I didn't want to give that away. So
no, it's not a problem at all, man. Honestly, I really appreciate this, and I promise to cherish this as well. So. With that being said, Saul, I want to say, you know, thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thanks very much as well. This
no
has
problem.
been great.
Yeah, this conversation is not really about perfection. It's just about, you know, purpose, really. So I want to say, you know, thanks for coming down. Thanks for sharing your story. I hope you feel like you've been heard.
Yeah, no, you've given me a real space to kind of, because again, I think as men, we don't really get an opportunity to really express ourselves and say what we think as well. So thanks really for giving me that opportunity to share my story.
Man. Apart from that, now let's go. We're actually, this is going to be a different end off. We're going to go and crush it at the gym.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 25 minutes.
That's fine. We've got to get there.
More than enough time.
Boxing today, isn't it?
Yeah, boxing today.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, looking forward to that.
Guys, we're signing off. Until next time.
Cool.
See you later.
Thanks.